Hi everyone, it's Luis again. Listen, today I am making a video on repotting this Phalaenopsis. But first, I want to tell you about yesterday. Yesterday we had our orchid meeting and it was a huge success. We did a pre-sale of our orchids for our members. Now, mark your calendar if you're in the San Antonio area or you want to drive down for more orchids, to buy orchids. We're having an orchid sale on May the 17th. So mark your calendars. It's going to be at the San Antonio Garden Center, 3310 North New Braunfels. So that's my announcement for today. But thanks to Emily, our new member, she needs help repotting this Phalaenopsis. So I'm making this video for her and for you so that you learn how to repot your Phalaenopsis. So first, what you see here is that it is in a ceramic pot, which is a common thing with most orchids that you buy. They come in a ceramic pot. And remember, if it doesn't have a drainage hole, it has to be porous, or the container itself where it's planted, it has to have a drainage hole. Otherwise, you're going to rot the roots. Now, this plant had a kiki right here, and during our meeting, we cut that, and I helped her repot it. So that's taken care of. Now, the anomaly in this plant is that it does have two spikes, and after it has bloomed, it has created this other weird-looking growth. Is it a kiki? Is it a bloom spike? What is it? Well, it's kind of both. The plant's a little confused because if you notice here, there's little leaves, and leaves signify either it's part of a new growth, almost like a kiki. But if you notice, there's no roots here, neither on this leaf or on this leaf. But if you notice right here, then you have the beginnings of buds. So it could be that the plant's a little confused. He doesn't know whether he wants to grow a kiki or he wants to grow blooms. So we'll see what happens. Right now we're going to repot it. The story behind it is that maybe it was too wet. Usually orchids roots rot if they're too wet. So this is what's in. You're going to see some brown and black roots, and that's typical of rotten roots. So not only that, there's no visible signs of green roots. Green roots are healthy roots. These are dead. Not only that, if you notice right here, there's white speckling, which makes me think that's a sign of maybe accumulated salts or even a fungus growing there. So to repot an orchid like this, we're going to repot it in moss, and we're going to reuse this container because the whole point is to set it here at its final stage. So what you're going to need is going to be new moss, and I already pre-soaked it, and you're going to need the container itself, and you're going to need another container to dump all the waste material. And we're going to need, what else do we need? Oh, Physan. If you don't have Physan, you can use hydrogen peroxide to clean the roots and prevent fungus growth on your plant. So I want to point out that the leaves are super healthy. So even though maybe this one's a little wrinkled, somewhat dehydrated, so we might find healthy roots inside, but for the most part, anything outside is already dead. So here we go. We're slowly going to start taking all this gunk out. And the bloom spike is connected to the stake, so I'm going to leave the stake there for now. Well, actually, I'll take it off. Here, I'll take it off. There. And I'll take it off over here. So this is what's appearing as we take out this old moss. Okay, well, this is what we're left with. If you notice, there's some green healthy roots, there's some dead. The papery ones, those are dead. So if you've seen my other videos on repotting, please make sure that you use a torch so that you don't cross-contaminate with any fungus or virus. That's very important because, you know, you would think most vectors for fungus or bacteria or viruses are the scale insects and aphids and you know, roaches and stuff like that. But sometimes humans are the ones that transmit viruses. So you have to make sure that you're not doing it. So this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna feel for all the dead ones in brown papery ones. You're cutting those. You know, and sometimes somebody asks me if what if you have a root that's dead, that's green on one side, then dead in the middle, and then it's green again? What do you do? Well, if your plant doesn't have many roots, you might want to keep it. But if your plant has plenty of roots, then you can always cut it. Because remember, the thing that's alive is the inside. This little part is the little stringy part is the one that's alive. So if you have that in between green spots, you might want to keep it. But for the most part, if you want to start all over again, just cut them all out. So when we're done with this, it might not look very appealing, but that's okay because, you know, the plant needs help, and that's just what you're doing. You're helping it because any dead roots that are left in there can promote fungus growth, and you don't want that. So this is what we're left. Maybe I'll cut this one over here. See, if you touch it and it's plump, then it's alive. And if it's papery, brown, and flat, it's dead. So this is what we're left with. So what do you do now? There's two things. If you don't have fungicide or any type of fungicide, you could just use hydrogen peroxide. You're gonna spray it like that. And you know, if you hold it to your ear, you're gonna hear the bubbling, the blue, 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 blue. So that means it's working. So you're cleaning it, you're disinfecting anything in there, like that. And you let it all fall down because this is gunk. You're gonna throw this away. So, and if you have fungicide, you could do both. You can, I'm gonna move this way because I don't want to spray my tablet, but then you spray it with fungicide. So there you go. I mean, the plant's not that bad. There. So that's what we are left with. You get rid of this, and we're gonna pot here. Like I told you, I already have the pre-soaked media, and I'm using sphagnum moss. So I start off by, oh, I forgot something. I want to spray the container. I don't think there's any fungus in here because the roots look healthy, but the other ones died, and I'm assuming they just died because they were suffocated from too much watering. So, once that's done, you come here and you fill it up with at least half moss, like that. Like that. So then this extra root, you're gonna wrap it around or go around in a circle so that it fits perfect. Otherwise, it's gonna dangle down. When you twist it like that, it allows for the root to be fit in the container properly. So then you keep on adding moss. And remember, since there's not a lot of roots here, it might be top heavy, especially since he has these two spikes here. So to stabilize the plant, you could either add a spike to the outside of the pot, or just really press the moss into the container so that the moss can hold it in place. So see, it kind of wobbles a little bit, but the more moss you put in it, the better it stabilizes. So there, it's looking pretty good. So I mean, one way to test whether it's snugly in place is to do the upside down test, which I did with another plant yesterday, but I'll demonstrate what I mean. So this is what I do. Hopefully this doesn't fall. But if you're able to put the plant upside down and it doesn't fall, then you're okay. There. Yes, I hold it a little bit, but as long as it's snug, you're fine. You know, I put some pressure on there because this is top heavy. It could fall, but as long as it's snug, you're fine. So that's my video on repotting. It's gonna go here, and my recommendation is to cut the excess piece of plastic that shows, and it makes the plant be more presentable. So here you go. This is a repotting for Emily on her orchid, and I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget the Orchid Sale next month, the 17th. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.